This episode is brought to you by Bumble, who says Valentine's Day is just for couples. Just because you're not in a relationship doesn't mean you can't get out there and live your best love life. That's where Bumble comes in. This February 14th, you can flip the script and give those relationshipers a friendly dose of FOMO. Say no to staying in this Valentine's Day and yes to more. More dates, more first kisses, more gossip for the group chat girlies. Do Valentine's your way. Date now on Bumble.
Matt, we've talked about Al parodies that have underwhelmed us in the past, mostly because we thought, is that the best you could have done? And we're about to talk about one that baffles me because before I knew who Weird Al Yankovic was, I'm pretty sure I already made up this parody on the recess playground. This was the last thing that was recorded for the UHF soundtrack, and in an album that we've already kind of said feels like it was kind of just like we have to get to 12 tracks. This one really feels like a we have to get to 12 tracks parody. There's still a lot of things I like about it, but man, taking She Drives Me Crazy to She Drives Like Crazy is like the most first take idea I think Al has ever done.
It's certainly a very natural progression. Yeah, and again for Al, it's definitely I guess we could say it's on the nose.
Yes.
Right? Having said that, and we're going to, obviously talk about all these things, and I'm excited. There is something about this that I think that I like more than I have any right to.
Probably. So
I don't hate it. I'm excited to talk about it with you. This is a weird one.
Spoiler alert, I'm not putting this below Toothless People. But
I think there's something that I find the way Al sings the verses of this song and that falsetto just to be funny. I don't know why. And it's, in my research for this song, I found, as I've mentioned before, I often reference Nathan Rabin, who did the
Squeeze Box or something the Big Squeeze or something like that.
Big Squeeze, yeah, where he talks about every Al song. And in his write-up about this, he makes a point to say that he thinks that Al's falsetto is bad. And Al's doesn't sound good in that register. And I kind of agree, but I also feel like that's part of what makes this so funny. Al's delivery on this song is so strange.
It's so strange. I literally wrote, this is not his best vocal performance. And then I wrote, he sings the chorus like Kermit the Frog.
So, and Al has actually addressed this.
Okay.
Someone asked him on the old Ask Al forums on his website, which are archived and are great to flip through. But somebody asks him, in fact, I have the whole thing. Trev Al of West Hartford, Connecticut asks, and She Drives Like Crazy, is that weird voice supposed to be Kermit the Frog? And Al responded, I don't think I was trying to do Kermit. I think I was kind of doing a cross between Dudley Do-Right and Peter Puma. I wound up having, and then in parentheses he says, I wound up having trouble trying to match the voice of the lead singer in Fine Young Cannibals, so I decided to make it more cartoony.
Which, here's the thing that's so funny to me. Kermit the Frog has covered She Drives Me Crazy.
I'm glad you said that, because I thought to myself, I was like, this song was enormously popular. This is a huge, huge, huge track. So in my head, I'm like, yeah, a lot of versions of this. I was envisioning a version of Kermit the Frog singing this. It feels to me like one of those songs that they would have done a slightly different version of in an episode of Sesame Street or something. This was so ubiquitous at the time that it came out. I remember I would have been very, very young, but I remember this song being just everywhere.
So I have to do a quick check on this, but when it was covered on an album, and I'm pretty sure, I can't remember what the name of the album was, but also on that same album was like Jimmy Buffett and Kermit singing Amphibian Chameleon or something like that, and like Ozzy Osbourne shows up to sing Born to Be Wild with Animal. Like, it is a strange album, but I almost wonder if that album came out at the exact same time as Al was doing UHF, and that he subconsciously was channeling the Kermit the Frog cover of She Drives Me Crazy. Because this, like I said, I am almost positive I sang this song at my school playground, saying like She Drives Like Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason why I'm saying that is also because you're right. This song was inexcapably
Oh my
huge.
God.
Like,
I just did a show. I play with, when I'm not on the road with Wheatus, there's a band based out of Brooklyn who do a tribute to Dolly Parton. And I play with them. You know, it doesn't happen that often. We do like 2 or 3 shows a year. And we just did one a couple days ago, and Dolly Parton covered this song. And so we actually did it in our show because it's a great party track, and it's a good little cheat for us. It was like, oh, we're doing all Dolly songs, and we can do Dolly's cover of She Drives Me Crazy. It's just, it crushed. It's funny, a show of all Dolly Parton music, and my God, people go nuts for this song. Like, I'm looking right now. I do see right away, like, I'm looking for covers of She Drives Me Crazy, and one of the first ones that pops up it just says, She Drives Me Crazy by Miss Piggy.
Yep. So it's Kermit the Frog, and the album was called Kermit Unpigged.
Wow.
Featuring guest vocals from George Benson, Jimmy Buffett, Vince Gill, Don Henley, Ozzy Osbourne, and Linda Ronstadt. Like,
amazing.
I literally have this album on my computer. So
that does make an amount of sense. Did you have a year on that?
That was 94, so it was after this.
So Al did Kermit before Kermit did Kermit.
Yeah, maybe someone heard Al's version and said, "Oh, Kermit could sing this one."
Well, at least we got to give him that. We got to give Al credit for that. Al saw the Kermit potential. And She Drives Me Crazy. Just another fun side note. This song was also covered in 1999 by Tom Jones. I'm just seeing that here. I have not. I got to check that out. Yeah, no. I'm Fine Young Cannibals, 1989.
Know what song Tom Jones has covered that I think he does a phenomenal version of?
What?
There's actually 2. He does a great cover of "Burning Down the House" by the Talking Heads.
Yeah,
and probably, this is going to sound crazy when I say it, probably my preferred version of "Kiss" by Prince.
Oh, that I have heard. And that's a great version of Kiss. That's a great version of Kiss. He somehow takes away the sexiness of Kiss and also makes it sexier simultaneously. I don't know how he does it. He just injects his own brand, right? Tom Jones and Prince had very different styles of being sexy.
Tom Jones was my brother's first concert.
That is badass. I love that. I'm fully on board for Tom Jones. I'm just going to go on the record right now. Yeah. So anyway, I mean, back to Al's version here. Like his, I'm almost speechless on this song because it is, as you said, very obvious and super silly for him. But I think it's the combination of that like high vocal. It seems so like serious and seems so strained and it's I have a higher laugh ratio on this song than a lot of Al songs, I have to say.
I think part of it is that it's almost the joke of the song. The joke of the song is barely the lyric changes. It's almost like he's more so channeling a bad karaoke performance.
I know. Yeah, that's kind of what it is. It's and you know, that's interesting to talk about because something we've said a lot on this show, which I still believe to be completely true, is that Al is like, he does these parodies with real reverence for the original, and being goofy about it is not his usual move. And if anything, we have pointed out, and I think this is also to give credit, I think also in the Nathan Rabin article, he pointed this out. It's almost like you can see Al's commitment to the bit, or Al's, how much he buys his own premise in how much he feels the need to punch it up with sound effects.
Yes. Well,
Like,
I
the
kind of
amount
like
of
the
sound
car
effects
trying
in
to
this song,
start in the beginning
I do
of the
too.
song. Yeah.
I do too. But I also get the fact that in this song, the amount of engine revving, screeching tires that is added throughout the whole thing is definitely like, is this funny enough? Do we need to make it funnier? Like, do we like keep adding to it? That plus the cartoon voices do both point to the idea that, like, okay, maybe they knew this needed something extra.
So let me ask, because I know that we've already figured out that he did not, I'm pretty sure we found out he did not tour for UHF, which
Yes,
leads
he
to
did not tour for UHF.
which leads to the question, has She Drives Like Crazy even been performed live by Weird Al?
According to Setlist FM, no.
So
No,
that
it
might
has never
also
been done.
sign off how proud he may or may not be
Yeah,
of this particular
this might not
parody.
be his finest moment, or he might not feel like it's his finest moment. Yeah, and you know, it's also worth noting. I don't necessarily think, because I saw it written in places as well, is like, obviously we know this is a very dated and old-timey stereotype that women are bad drivers. And the question is he leaning into a stereotype like that on this song, or is it just the most obvious lyric change ever? Like, he could have made this "He Drives Like Crazy." I don't think it would have changed any lyric on the song whatsoever. But it does also make a slightly weird, like, oh, I guess, are we really, like, it's an obvious, like, old school trope, stereotype, kind of dumb joke that the entire song is based around. So maybe that's another element of where he's like, yeah, this, I don't feel amazing about this at this point in time.
TIAA is on a mission. Why? Because 54% of Black Americans don't have enough savings to retire. So in collaboration with big-name artists like Wyclef Jean, TIAA released Paper Right. New music inspiring a new financial future. With 100% of streaming sales going to a nonprofit that teaches students how to invest. Stream Paper Right now and help close the gap.
This episode is brought to you by Bumble, who says Valentine's Day is just for couples. Just because you're not in a relationship doesn't mean you can't get out there and live your best love life. That's where Bumble comes in. This February 14th, you can flip the script and give those relationshipers a friendly dose of FOMO. Say no to staying in this Valentine's Day and yes to more. More dates, more first kisses, more gossip for the group chat girlies. Do Valentine's your way. Date now on Bumble.
Hello everyone, we're Superhero Stuff You Should Know, and if you think you know about superheroes and comic books, think again.
We got romance. We got action.
Romance?
We got comedy. We got everything you need, man. Come on down to Superhero Stuff You Should Know for all your superhero needs.
I don't know about this romance. What part are you talking about?
We've got all kinds of sketches, and then deep dives on top of that. Come on down to Superhero Stuff You Should Know.
All right, so come on down to... Wait, why did I say come on down? To Superhero Stuff You Should Know.
Here's the thing that's worth asking, too.
Yeah.
Is this the first appearance of Al asking if someone got something from a box of Cracker Jacks?
I think it is. And yeah, I mean, again, I really, like, I'm looking at the lyrics on the page right now, and I'm laughing to myself at, they're so dumb.
They're so dumb. There is one line that I think is brilliant, and we'll get there in a second, but that I had to call out. Obviously, I mean, all about the Pentiums, he also asks if you got your CPU from a box of Cracker Jacks.
That's right.
And this
That's
one,
right.
he's asking if you got your license from Cracker Jacks.
Yeah.
But the line, tires squeal wherever we go, even hitchhikers just say no,
Yeah.
is a really funny line.
It is a really funny line. I mean, and the Cracker Jacks line makes me laugh too. I mean, honestly, all of it. Where'd you learn how to steer? You do 80 in second gear. That's funny. When you drive, I can't relax. Got your license from Cracker Jacks. You just hit another tree. These fender benders are killing me. And then we get the chorus. And then the other one I love, they'll put you behind bars. We're not playing bumper cars. Did a great figure 8 in the middle of the interstate. That makes me laugh every time I hear it. His just did a great figure 8. I don't know, that I would have never thought of that line. That's yeah, tire squeal wherever we go, even hitchhikers just say no. I also like the no, we're just going over every lyric now. The she's a demon behind the wheel. She thinks she's driving the Batmobile.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's like I said. It is not his worst parody, but it is definitely not his best parody either.
Well, so maybe what I'm getting at is this might be a hot take from me. I don't know. But in the world of his like dumber parodies, and again, I don't mean that in an insulting way. I mean that in like, as we've said before, sometimes he will do a parody that is really subtle and satirical and has like social commentary in it. He's like trying to make a point. And then other times he's being goofy and funny and just making a silly song.
Yeah.
And in the world of his silly songs, this really does make me laugh. And I don't know why. And honestly, maybe it comes down to the fact that I'm very fond of the original.
I was going to say the original is a
song.
great song.
Yeah.
And I think that it's funny that they're kind of one of those bands, because I had to look this up. I was like, are they like one of these great one-hit wonders that we have not covered on One Hit Thunder? But no, they followed She Drives Me Crazy up with the song Good Time. That was another #1 hit on the Billboard charts. Now, I don't know Good Thing. I don't remember this song. But, I mean, the Fine Young Cannibals certainly had a year.
They also, in the UK, had a hit with a cover of Suspicious Minds.
Nice.
That did very well for them. I think that most of their success was overseas and not in America. Like maybe if you look at the American charts, you could call them a one-hit wonder over here. But yeah, no, they definitely had some success. Yeah, and what an interesting sound. I mean, it's a very like even the original. It's a simple song. It's nothing too crazy, but a very unique sound. I mean, hey. A testament to how unique the sound is that by Al's own admission, he couldn't quite get it.
Yeah.
Which is why he leaned into Kermit.
But
he's like, I'll do Kermit.
I also feel like this gives more credence to what we've said about the UHF soundtrack of they just need it to fill this album out, because I think that all signs point to if he had another parody idea, he probably would have just abandoned this one. And went with anything else.
I do think you're absolutely right about that. I think that, yes, all signs point to, and, again, just tie it back to UHF, because I keep forgetting this is UHF. Doesn't this also seem like we've established this is not the case? And maybe this is just more about how Al writes, but it's so easy to envision this being in this movie.
Yeah. Well, like, again, this was recorded...
weird. It's so weird to me how much of this music from the soundtrack is not in the movie.
Is not in the movie. And this is the thing that I guess is weird. Like, yeah, because you could fit this in somewhere. It was recorded the same day as Isle Thing. And I do think that this is a little bit better than Isle Thing in my mind. But credit where credit's due with Isle Thing, at least he tied it back to television somehow.
He did.
Like this has so little to do with UHF in the sense that it is definitely not a song that appears in the movie, and it has nothing to do with any element of anything in the movie. Like it's just like this is probably the most filler we've ever gotten from Al Yankovic, I think.
I think you might be right. Well, yeah, I like it more than Isle Thing. Also, it's worth noting, even if we want to talk about like the performance is maybe a little bit shaky on this song, that's fair. Just a A/B, like it's a testament to Al's range and his ability. Isle Thing and this, boy, could they not be more different vocal takes. If you listen to those two songs side by side, I don't know anyone who would think that was the same guy doing both of those songs. Like he really like Isle Thing is like he smoked a carton of cigarettes before he recorded that song, and this one is it's so different, both the falsetto part and the chorus. It's like three different people.
It's something.
You're right. Isle Thing makes more sense in the context of UHF, but I definitely prefer this song overall.
And I genuinely don't know if it's like you said. I just really like the song She Drives Me Crazy. So
She Drives Me Crazy is a great song.
That chorus, dude, there's no way.
It's wonderful.
We talk about this all the time on One Hit Thunder, but the second that they wrote that chorus, they must have just saw dollar signs.
I hope so.
Because it is so catchy.
Yeah. It's so catchy. It's so good. It's hard to, we talked about this on Girls Just Want to Have Lunch too, where it's like even when Al, I think actually that might be the best comparison we have for this song.
You mean literally the song I have directly above it on my list? Because as far as placement goes, I think it's Girls Just Want to Have Lunch, drives like crazy, are almost one and the same in my brain. They're
very
the
similar
same thing.
Yeah, they're very similar. We have no reason to believe there's the whole lore behind Girls Just Want to Have Lunch that the label made him do it. We have nothing to indicate that this was anyone's idea but Al's. So that part is separated. But in terms of the overall vibe and how it feels, yeah, they feel very similar. But so I have to say, I think I like this more than Girls Just Want to Have Lunch. I haven't looked at my rankings yet. You're already you're
I got
ahead of
mine
me.
locked. I got mine locked.
You got yours locked. You showed up prepared for this one.
I won't be as prepared next week. I don't know where that's going.
Yeah, no, I just I would love more information on how these songs got recorded, and just if there was ever any idea to integrate them into the movie more, or if it was just like we need a soundtrack.
I truly believe that Al's plan in his mind was we will put out an album where I have 5 songs on it and the rest is the score to the movie. And Scotty Brothers said, absolutely not. And then 3 months later, he had to go into a studio and get some more originals and parodies written quickly to fill it out. Like that's
I mean, that does make the most sense.
And it's a bummer. It's really, and look, we're going to talk about an original next week that I think is really, really fun. I mean, Biggest Ball of Twine in Minnesota is a song that comes up constantly from people being like, that's my favorite Weird Al song. You know what I mean? Like, So it wasn't like he just completely swung and missed throughout this whole album, but I do think that the 3 parodies that he had to quickly throw together all kind of show in their own way. Them being Isle Thing, this, and Spam. I think Spam probably stands the tallest of those 3 as far as like quickly thrown together, but still work in a weird way.
It still feels like him. Yeah. It still feels very much like him. Yeah.
This just doesn't feel like Al to me. This feels like the stuff that you would find on Napster incorrectly labeled Weird Al Yankovic.
Yeah, I think you're probably right about that. I mean, I also was just thinking about, in terms of driving songs, is this his second driving song after Stop Dragging My Car Around? I think it might be, because we have more of those coming up too.
We do have a good amount of, I'm trying to see originals. I don't think he has anything necessarily about driving in the originals category. But yeah, we're going to get the truck driving song soon enough. Like
truck driving song, Traffic Jam. I mean, he definitely is, it's what I would consider something of a recurring theme in his work. But this is an early example of it. Yeah, so again, it's that weird, like, it sort of doesn't feel like Al, but then it has some of his markers. I don't know. I have to say, though, I'm about to rank it higher than I expected I was going to.
Okay.
Because I'm going to put it in between, just below your fave, Ricky.
Okay.
And just above Lasagna.
Wow. That is higher than I even anticipated you were going to go with this. I just went for the listeners who aren't checking the website. He did, in fact, put this above Another One Rides the Bus, which I thought was...
I did, and now, this is the problem with this game. Right now, Another One Rides the Bus feels low to me comparatively, but I'm looking at the list because I was thinking this is an example of a parody where it's like, I love the song so much that I think it overrides the things that I don't love about the parody. And then when I think about that, I'm looking at a list and I'm thinking like, Here's Johnny is a great example of a song that I love. And I think I love it in large part because I love the tune.
Yeah.
And then I see King of Suede. I was like, well, I like that more. Like, and then I just find myself going up the list. Like, I like it more than that. Well, I like it more than that.
We got a mailbag coming up pretty soon.
Mm-hmm.
Let's make sure that we write down that we'll do another round of we get to move one song
of making a move. Yeah, exactly. I mean, Another One Rides the Bus is so important for Al, but I don't know.
I don't think you would bump it to the top of your list or anything. But I feel like that's one where you're like, am I really putting
Yeah.
living with a hernia, king of suede, lasagna, and she drives like crazy, all better than another one rides the bus. And I don't know. I feel like before I make that move, I would personally myself have to re-listen to another one rides the bus to remember why I ranked it so low.
Again, I can't even quantify it any more than just to say like I like this song more than I should.
Okay.
I will admit that. I don't sometimes something about this really works for me against all odds. I don't know why. I really don't know why, but I'm tickled by it. I really do. I honestly laugh at this song more than a lot of, for sure, better Al songs.
Well, there we go. Well, we'll be back next week.
Wait, did you rank him at? I didn't hear.
I already said it out loud in the middle of the episode. I firmly put this directly behind Girls Just Want to Have Lunch and above Here's Johnny.
Okay. Oh, so there you go. So you had a similar thought to me about Here's Johnny, because that's yeah. Okay. So, but yeah, you like this not as much as Lunch. Interesting. Okay.
My only reason being that like Girls Just Want to Have Lunch, I think back to us recording that episode. And I was like, you know what? Good point made. Like, there is, like, this almost, like, fuck you energy to that song.
I will say that one has the punk rock energy to it that this does not. This does not feel like
it's hard to be punk rock doing anything with the Fine Young Cannibals.
It's hard to be punk rock when you're Kermit the Frog doing the Fine Young Cannibals. It's not easy. He tried his best. I would love to hear from listeners if anyone else has any feelings about this song. There's got to be someone else out there who agrees with me on this. Like, it's just good fun.
I already said it, but we're putting out a mailbag, and we're getting close to mailbag season. So get those letters in.
I'm
our email at weirdalgorithmpodcast@gmail.com, or I believe is the website set up where they can email us through the website?
Yes, there's a contact form on our website too. I feel like we don't plug the website enough. We should, once again, weirdalgorithmpodcast.com is where you can see our rankings. You can see, we have the lists, we have the guest rankings, we have our rankings. You can see where we are. We update it. We try to update it every Friday. That's entirely my job. If it's not updated, don't yell at Matt, yell at me. Yeah, so that you guys can actually see where we put these things. Because now the lists are getting long enough that it's like we can't read it down. Remember in the early episodes, we just would read them in order every time. Now we got like way too many songs on here.
It's insane. It's absolutely chaos. But that's fine.
Yeah.
Because we're all about that chaos. And we
love the chaos.
You know what, though? Too much chaos. I think next week we got to do something a little bit more generic.
Ooh. I'm going to go back to bed.